Daily Dribble.
And welcome back to the Daily Dribble podcast, guys. As always, I'm your host, Nick Zammit. Here joining me on a very fine Saturday morning, Mr. Roe Hancock.
How are we, Nick?
Mate, up and about. It's a huge episode. It is. As we always say, it's just you and I flying the flags today. Our third little compadre is nursing a bit of a hangover, I believe. So,
Poor Lee.
Get a Gatorade in, big fella. You'll be right. But big episode for you and I today. We're about to touch on just a couple of playing predictions. No odds and ends. It's a little bit of a different episode today. We're going to touch on the playing predictions. We were then joined earlier today by a very, very special guest who we'll announce shortly. But it was an absolute delight having him on with us this morning, talking about all manner of things, his rise to fame, you could say, his affiliation with the Dallas Mavericks organization. A lot to look forward to there. We'll unveil that shortly in the show, but it was awesome. It was really good. A must-listen episode, guys.
You'll see who it is shortly, but it was easily one of our better interviews, I would have thought.
Absolutely.
Such a nice person. So really looking forward to releasing that shortly.
Guys, 100%. Before we get into it, though, a couple of quick housekeeping points. A big thank you for all the continued support from our two major kind of partners there, the Spotlight Sports Network and The Cover. Liam McGrath there running that one, helping up-and-coming sporting podcast enthusiasts and content creators kind of voice their platform there. For the Spotlight Sports Network in America, The Cover down here in Australia, we are stoked to be part of those two entities. So carry on fighting the good fight there, guys. Again, a big thank you for all the support for us on our socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Instagram Reels, Row, we are loving it at the minute. People seem to be as well.
They are. No, it's good to incorporate that into it. But just quickly, just a big shout out to the podcast community, though, because, coming in, we've spoken about it a few times since starting the podcast, but I'm always surprised how supportive the podcast community is.
Absolutely.
Particularly when they've got podcasts of their own that they're trying to grow. But the support for our podcast has been unreal.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
Absolutely.
So big shout out to everyone who's supporting the pod.
And keep doing so, guys. Continue to hit that subscribe, like button, share the content, keep it drumming up. We do have big things in the works. We've been having a bit of a chat off air. We're really looking to expand, grow, and conquer everything at the moment. So we do have big things in the works. So stick with us. We certainly do appreciate it. Guys, let's get into it. What we're going to do today, no odds and ends, as I alluded to a moment ago. We're just going to give some quick playing predictions. Now, this is subject to change. There's a couple of games going on as we speak that might slightly impact this. But let's get into it.
Daily Dribble.
Let's start with the Western Conference here. We'll just rip through. We've got two matchups here. We've got the 7-8 matchup being the Minnesota Timberwolves against the LA Clippers, and the 9-10 game being the New Orleans Pelicans against the San Antonio Spurs. So let's start with that one, Ro.
Okay.
Pelicans and Spurs. Who do you have winning that one?
Look, I think I'm going to have to lock in New Orleans.
Yes.
They've been good in the latter half of the year.
Well, they started the season 1-12. Since then, they've just about been a 500 team.
They have been, which is playoff quality, really. So I think I'll lock in the Pelicans, and just due to the fact that I think they've got more. We speak about it like so often, don't we, Nick? But just more top-end talent on their team. Like, I feel like you've with CJ McCollum as your main scoring option, Brandon Ingram on that team as well. They're going to be
Valanciunas had a really good season as well.
Yep, absolutely. Whereas I feel like the Spurs are probably just a little too reliant on DeJounte Murray.
I think that's the big thing, hey, because I likewise, I'll go with the Pelicans as well in that one. I think my concern with them might be the lack of a top-tier scorer.
Absolutely.
There's no, for as great as DeJounte Murray is, there's not an out-and-out real go-to guy there who can get you a bucket.
That's right.
As you said with the Pelicans, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, lights out.
I tell you what, though, big shout-out to the Spurs because they probably should have been no chance for even a play-in spot.
They shouldn't have been.
We'll get to this shortly, won't we, Nick?
It's disgusting.
Yeah, they've done well to claw it back, and big shout-out to Pop as well because, it's not easy getting a young team like that in, potentially playoff contention. So
without a doubt.
That's amazing.
Pelicans take that one for us both. In the 7-8 matchup, The Timberwolves against the Clippers. Now, this is an interesting game, I think.
This will be contentious, Nick.
There's a lot to like for both sides in this one, especially during the week. The Clippers, Paul George is now back, and Norman Powell also made his return the other day.
And he went off in his return as well.
He popped off big time. Yeah. So, how do you feel about this one, mate?
I'm locking in the Clippers for this one. I don't know I actually don't know who the odds-on favourite to win this series would be. To be perfectly honest, I reckon they're
one game, do or die. It's
pretty evenly matched.
Yep.
Again, I think PG coming back is such a huge inclusion. Without PG, it probably would have gone with the Timberwolves, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he's enough to take them over the line. And then Norman Powell as well, returning. He's actually such an underrated player in terms of what he can provide to that team and how important he is to that team as well.
I agree.
The other thing is with the Timberwolves, I'm not sold on them come playoffs because we obviously over the last 5 to 10 years haven't seen a hell of a lot of the Timberwolves in the playoffs. So I don't have the faith that they'll get over the top. But it's just one game, as you were mentioning before.
Game, absolutely.
So they only need one good game, even one good half to win. So
I am super, super excited for this game.
Yep. That's a toughie.
This is tough. This is almost a coin flip. I'm going to lean towards the Timberwolves.
Okay.
Just for the pure fact that I think Towns will be hard to stop. He's been lacking. Like, I feel like the Timberwolves have almost got a little bit complacent the last week or two. They had that great run a couple of weeks ago, but there just seems to be a little level of complacency, especially with Towns there just on his defensive side of things. But I think in that one game, do or die, I think he's going to show up. I think the Wolves get over, but I reckon this will be a wicked game. I think it'll really be close. We'll be reliant on Edwards popping off as well. But against Paul George,
just a quick one.
It's a tough one.
If the Clippers were to take this game, what do you give the odds of Kawhi Leonard returning this season? I don't think it's out of the question that he may return.
I think it's well and truly on the cards.
He's getting closer.
He's getting a lot closer.
Yeah.
The actual talk's been ramping
all
up
the reports,
considerably.
Yeah, exactly. All the reports are saying that he is sort of more or less just around the corner.
In that case, one of the title contenders? If they get Kawhi back, are they? Yeah,
they do. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't classify them as legitimate title contenders at the moment.
Sure.
But include Kawhi Leonard into that team. They go from a team who I'm not sold on to get past the first round to a team who could make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, tough out.
Yeah,
tough out. So I guess on that, so you've gone the Clippers, I've gone the Wolves.
Yes.
I tell you what, these are big games, big games.
Enormous.
Do you see? I guess the loser of that, whether it is the Clippers or the Timberwolves, do you see both of them beating the Pelicans in that final playoff spot game?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I do. Whoever wins that game, I think, will just get over the top of them. I kind of, even though I think Clippers will win, I kind of do hope that Minnesota win because they haven't had too much success as of late, have they? And they're a young, exciting core as well. You kind of want to see them do well, but
that's going to be wicked. The battle in the West is heating up just around the corner there. We'll transition to the East. Now, this is, as I said, I'll put the little point on. There's two big games going on as we speak today. The Brooklyn Nets against the Cavs and the Heat versus Atlanta. Both have big implications on what's going to happen around these games. But I've based these playoff playing games. Playoff playing, it gets me every time still. I base that on the results prior to today. So let's go with that. So the 7-8 matchup will be the Cleveland Cavaliers. Who would have thought we'd be saying that? The Cleveland Cavaliers there will be facing, it's the Brooklyn Nets. And the Atlanta Hawks will be facing, I've just gone blank there, the Charlotte Hornets. I was looking at the Wizards there and I thought, oh, God, they'd almost jumped up. But it is Atlanta against the Hornets there and Cavs against Brooklyn at the time of speaking.
Okay.
So how do you feel about that, bro? Let's start with the Atlanta-Charlotte game. One game, do or die.
Atlanta-Charlotte, I'm going with the Hawks. I've got more faith in them in a playoff setting at the moment.
Is that because of Trae Young?
He's a huge
team as
Trae Young's a huge contributor as to why. I think he steps up in the big moments as well.
Absolutely.
Doesn't shy away at all. Still don't have too much faith, and Lee won't like this, but he's not here to defend
He's not
himself,
here. He can't say squat.
I still don't have huge faith in the Charlotte Hornets come the big games.
They
I
would
think
look better with Gordon Hayward, wouldn't they?
they
That
would.
would be
Yeah,
a huge piece.
They would. They're an exciting team, the Charlotte Hornets, but I just don't see them, getting over that hump at least for the next. I don't know. They might make it next year, but not this year. So that's that matchup. What do you reckon?
I tend to agree. I think the Hornets are just a little step behind the 8 ball from really competing. I think Hayward would certainly help, but I think the Hawks are just hitting their form just at the right time of the season.
They are. Indeed.
Big game this. I tend to like the Hawks. I think in that one game situation, I think Trae Young, he can ice a game. Coincidentally, ice Trae, but he can really put a game to bed. I think the key, though, will be him just really finding that balance between scoring and playmaking. Not trying to do too much of one or the other.
No.
Because they need to get great output from him in both those regards, I think, for this game.
If the
It's going to
Hawks,
be a wicked matchup, though.
it's going to be incredible, isn't it? If the Hawks did make the playoffs, what chance do you give them of progressing, I don't know, to maybe the Final Four?
So let's say if they wind up in the 8th seed, they'd be playing the Heat, who are pretty much wrapped up, they've wrapped up the number 1 seed.
Yeah, they have.
Let's use that as the hypothetical. Heat versus Hawks.
I feel like they have belief.
I think it
in
could
the
go 6,
organisation.
but I think the Heat would get over the top. I think they're a little bit strong.
Yep. I don't disagree with that either.
Fantastic matchup that would be, though.
But
All the matchups, all this year, a couple of seasons ago, you look at those 7-8 seeds in the East in particular. We had Detroit, Orlando, and they were just, they were going to be a 4-zip or 4-1. But this year, all of these series are going to be electric.
In terms of playoff matchups, I can't think of another year in recent memory that it's been this anticipated and this unpredictable as well. So, very much looking forward to that.
7-8 matchup was the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Brooklyn Nets.
Yep.
Well, I think I know which way you're going to go, but tell me.
I think I mentioned it on last week's podcast, but I have complete faith that the Brooklyn Nets will make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
I think at their absolute best, there's very little teams in the league that will probably be able to stop them, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And I think despite Cleveland having such an incredible year as they have, I don't anticipate that they're going to get over the top of the Brooklyn Nets.
It's a shame because they really deserve better.
They do.
Unfortunate injuries have kind of derailed them a little bit, but they, you can't understate what they've achieved this season. Darius Garland, Mobley, Jared Allen, JB Bickerstaff leading that whole, the resurgence of Kevin Love. They have been wicked. It is a shame to see them faltering a little bit, again, due to injuries. But
if you were grading their season, you'd probably have to give them an A+, in all honesty, given, I guess, where we thought they would be to where they are now. And, they've got players in, they've obviously had players in All-Star contention. They've had players in Defensive Player of the Year contention.
Rookie of the Year.
Coach of the
year.
They've just excelled on all levels.
Can we make a case for Garland in MVP? Probably not. But
we could
try.
Push it, but
I agree, though. They've been wicked. So I'd take the Nets in that one. In that one game, KD's going to be... He is going to be a man on a mission, I reckon.
Yes,
unstoppable there. But, I'm looking forward to that game.
Me too.
I'm looking forward to that game. Taking the Nets as well there, Ro, just to reiterate.
Taking the Nets, yep.
I tell you what, playoffs just around the play-in playoffs.
Get it right.
Play-in just around the corner, starting next week. Yeah. So by the time we record our next episode, they will be just about done and dusted. And we will have our lineup for the playoffs all but set. So a lot to look forward to in previewing those matchups.
Yep.
What an exciting year it's been. It's been a phenomenal year of basketball.
Can't think of many years in recent memory, same as I was mentioning with the playoffs, that have been this exciting.
Absolutely.
And it's been action-packed from an individual perspective, from teams making the leap up to legitimate contenders like Memphis Grizzlies, for example. It's just, it's had it all.
Well, you know what, Rose? Speaking of exciting, we have an exciting interview coming up, so I won't dilly-dally too much longer.
Yes.
Before we get into that, though, another exciting point of the episode, one of, if not the most exciting, is our ad read. So, right.
Yes.
We love it, don't we? Here we are once again. Here we are, chewing the fat. Our fantastic partners at Manscaped, we cannot thank them enough for their continued support. As we said last week, testicular, I've got to get this right because it's a mouthful, Testicular Careness Awareness Month.
Yes.
It's something, it is now. It's something we feel super passionate about, as well as Manscaped. Men's health is paramount, not only in a physical sense, in a mental sense, and it's becoming more brought to the light. So what Manscaped's doing in raising that awareness is fantastic, and we're stoked to be a part of them. So just a shout out on that front. What I do want to make note of, though, a
Yes.
very exciting development. We have finally received our new gear. Manscaped have hooked us up. We've got some new gear that we're going to be releasing to you guys next week. It is, I don't want to give too much away because we'll unveil some of it over the coming weeks, but we're about to bust into our delivery. Guys.
Oh, it's like kids waking up on Christmas.
It's exciting stuff. Not only do we already have the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, the Ball Deodorant, everything of the kind, we've got some new, fresh products to release to you guys. So, can't wait to share that. But
Yes.
you've got to get involved with this. You've got to hit that link below. Use our code Dribble20 for 20% off and free shipping.
Free shipping.
Does it get any better? Free shipping gets
Do I need to
every
even
time.
touch on it? Probably not, but free shipping, it'll get you across the line.
It's
surely.
huge. And your balls, just quickly, FYI, I just had a little crack on the Lawnmower 4.0 last night.
Yep.
And can I just say,
Are you feeling very aerodynamic?
I am. I've got soccer later today, so I'm looking
Okay.
forward to just flying up and down the field.
Gee.
Feel a lot lighter.
Yeah, love that.
But just quickly, compared to other, men's grooming tools, when you get a nick, it's horrible. Manscaped does not let you get that.
No.
So, guys, join us. Have your balls looking as fresh as ours. New products coming next week. We can't wait to share that with you. Use that code below, Dribble20, for 20% off and free shipping. Thank you, Manscaped, for the continued support.
Fade it down. Fade it down.
I
Oh,
love it. I love it. I love it. I'm super excited for these products. I want to wrap this episode up because we need to. It is little kids at Christmas time here today.
yes.
But guys, as we said, we are very, very excited. We had the incredible opportunity just earlier on. We're going to show you that clip in a moment. But speaking to Dustin Schumacher, also known as XL, incredible what he's doing there. He came out with the hit song "LUKA MAGIC,"
Yes.
which might I just say is an absolute tune. What he's doing in terms of that recording space and artist on the rise is phenomenal. We were very lucky to have the opportunity. Might I just say, what an incredible guy. We were able to have a bit of a chat with him off the air.
So genuine.
So genuine.
It'll come
So
across straight
humble.
away. He's such a good bloke. Really enjoyed it.
We said, I don't know if it made the episode, if it was part of the episode or off the air, but we both said this was one of our probably our favorite interview we've done.
Yep.
So it was wicked. Dustin, can't thank you enough for being on the show, man, and really looking forward to developing a long relationship with you. We're loving everything you do. Guys, check him out. Hit him up on the socials, which we'll mention in the episode. But guys, please sit back and enjoy our episode with Dustin Schumacher. Enjoy, guys. We'll talk to you next week. Absolute tune. We're joined here today by the man who has made this absolute masterpiece, Dustin Schumacher, also known as XL. Mate, thank you so much for joining Ro and myself here on today's Daily Dribble podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. This is amazing. I'm in Australia.
Yeah, this is something, we've been talking about for the last week or so, getting in the works. It's something, Ro and I have both really been looking forward to.
Have been, for sure.
Everything you're doing at the moment, LUKA MAGIC, as you just heard, is an absolute tune. So we're stoked to have you joining us here today on the podcast.
Thank you. I'm stoked to be here.
Mate, we've got a few things in store today. We're going to just have a bit of a chat about your journey, the inspiration for LUKA MAGIC, touch on a few bits here and there, but as again, we might start just with a quick thank you. This is we haven't had a guest on in a little while, and this is the perfect way for us to foray back into that area by having you on. So we really do appreciate you being on.
I feel the same way. Thank you so much. I really do.
Legend, mate. Let's do it without further ado. So that song, as we heard, LUKA MAGIC is a tune. We just said off air how we're absolutely digging it at the moment. And many of the people we've showed are loving it too.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to know, I've listened to quite a few of your other songs, Orange, Home Run.
Yeah.
Be sure to check them all out on Spotify. We'll plug that at the end as well. But where did the inspiration for LUKA MAGIC come from?
That's always an amazing question. And what happened was I worked with Sauceword Rich, and he's from the production group FKI. Now, he's worked with Iggy Azalea, Lil Wayne, Post Malone, anybody you can think of.
Who's who?
And so,
the big dogs.
Absolutely, 10 times platinum producer, incredible mind, just an incredible artistic mind for everything, for melodies, for anything you could think of. And it's just been a pleasure to work with him. and he's become one of my best friends, so now it's even better.
How's that?
Incredible, because I think you can work with very talented people, but then when you're really on the same level, like friend to friend,
yes,
I'm sure you both know, like running a show,
100%. 100%.
It's just so much better. It's just so much better and so much easier, even though it was easy before, it's just so much better, so much more fun. So we were working on my new EP, which will be coming out in the next few months. And, we have been in the studio like every day at this point.
Yeah.
And we were thinking about like, what songs next? What songs should we do next? Like we have these kind of songs, those kind of songs. And so we took a break because we were just spent. You know what I mean? We had
you would be
writer's block because we were in the studio for like 2-3 weeks straight. And so like, we're like, oh man, so he knew that my favorite player is LUKA Doncic, and he's a huge basketball fan himself. So to take a break in the studio, we have a big screen TV in the studio, and we just sat on the couch, and he just looks up LUKA Doncic's highlights. And so like we're watching these highlights and everything, and I'm like, oh, he's so good. Like he's so crazy. He's so good. And the one clip that they showed was when LUKA in his rookie year hit the buzzer beater, and the announcer's like, it's LUKA Magic. The first time LUKA Magic got coined. And so my producer looks to me, he goes, that's it, LUKA Magic. Something. That was it. And that was it. Then we wrote, and it was done within like 5-10 minutes.
Oh, you're kidding. Really? 5-10 minutes?
Seriously.
To knock up the song, the whole song?
Whole song, 5-10 minutes.
Wow. How's that though? Yeah. How's that for like inspiration? Just having it on the big screen, clip like that. That's all you need sometimes, isn't it? And that kind of shows, you know, like the real artist who can turn something almost as small as that into an absolute hit song. So that's incredible.
It's incredible that you can get it done in 5, to 10 minutes or whatever the case might be. But I think and correct me if I'm wrong, but even if it takes that quick to come up with a hit song like you've come up with, I'm sure there'd be so many elements that go into making a hit song generally, even if you've come up with it in 5 to 10 minutes. I
production and things.
The production, just absolutely everything that goes into it. So I guess from my point of view, I'm very curious to hear what you believe goes into making a really good song that you're happy with and you're content with and you believe other people love.
That's such a good question. I think that for me, and everyone's going to have a different answer. Every artist, I believe, is going to have a different answer to the question. Yeah. For me, I believe in honesty. I believe in total honesty as an artist. So, I never would have expected that making a song about one of my favorite basketball players would turn into something that even non-basketball players enjoy. Non-basketball fans enjoy. People who don't even play basketball enjoy. Like I 100%. Never would have thought that, and some people, very few at this point, but some people don't know who LUKA is, because they don't watch basketball, right? So, I mean, it just took me by shock that people resonated so hard with the melody or the beat or whatever it may be, 100%. And just turned it into one of their favorite songs. I got so many DMs from people who are like, I don't even watch basketball, but this is one of my favorite songs because I love the melody, I love the beat. So for me, making a hit song, I believe, is being honest and just doing what you love, doing what you enjoy. And of course, I would be lying to you if I didn't say have a good beat and have something catchy.
Mate, 100%. I think that big key part, as you said, is doing what you enjoy, hey, because that really shows across if you're doing anything from podcasting, producing music, actor, anything of that kind in that media area. If you're passionate about what you're doing, it really shows through. So fantastic stuff there.
I might just bounce off that as well. XL, you were mentioning before that you've got a really good relationship with your producer, was it? Sorry if I'm not mistaken. Do you think that's another sort of significant reason as to why you can make the music that you want to make?
Absolutely, because I feel if I wasn't one of his good friends, if he wasn't one of my good friends, a lot of people would be very intimidated to step into the studio with him just because of his accolades, and they might not come off as honest as they would if they were more grounded, know? And so for me, because we have that friendship, because we're comfortable with each other and like I said, the song taking 5-10 minutes is because we're on the exact same wavelength.
Yeah.
You know, so that song, before he was one of my good friends, when I just knew him as an artist, as a producer, that might have taken a lot longer because I would have overthought everything.
Absolutely.
You know, to
100%.
impress,
Yep.
to impress, just being honest, like to impress, I would have overthought everything. But at this point, you know, if he's nodding his head, I trust his judgment. He has the accolades for me to trust his judgment, speaking on a professional level, of course, you know. And so if he's nodding his head and he tells me it's done, then it's done,
That's
you
done.
know, and I trust him totally. And he
Yeah,
was right, you know.
I love that.
Just full transparency on both sides of things.
Yes.
Yep.
So I guess there, Dustin. So since this song's came out, how have things changed for you? That first correspondence you and I had together, it was awesome. The clip you sent me of the experience, you know, having the Mavs invite you courtside,
Wow.
being able to take your mum there, and that whole experience. So how was that, and how have things changed since the songs come about?
You know, and so many artists say it, and again, it's one of those things where it means different things to different artists. Anybody you ask is going to have a different story. And so for me, it was life-changing. It was career-changing for me because of all the opportunities that came after LUKA Magic came out. And the song's still running hard, you know, and these opportunities just keep coming in and keep coming in. And it's just been a blessing, especially for me. I come from a very impoverished family, very poverty-stricken family. When I was growing up, you know, I went to a school of like 30 kids was in my graduating class, like very small town, backwoods, you know, United States. And so for me to have this song pop off, and then the Mavericks ended up writing a front page article on it. And it was I was right next to Luka Doncic on their website, an NBA official website. And I've never even dunked before. Like, and I'm next to Luka Doncic. I was like, whoa. I was like, this is incredible. Yeah. And so when that had happened, you know, the stream started coming in, and then I started getting pages getting a hold of me on Instagram to use it for their highlight clips for Luka.
Yeah.
And then they started using it and everything. And I was like, whoa, this is insane. I just keep going those streams up thousands and thousands a day.
Yeah.
And people are listening to it, reposting it. And then a bunch of big Twitter pages started using it too. Like every time the Mavericks would win, they'd repost LUKA Magic. Yeah. And then after that, you know, I got hit up by the Mavericks, and, you know, they invited me out courtside. And so Rich was with me. It was myself. It was Rich. And I brought my mom as well because I wanted her to see her son succeeding.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure. So you know what? They're like, well, you could bring one more person. I'm like, Mom, listen.
Guess where we're going. That's wicked.
This is where we're going. You know, I told her, hey, you know, dress up, because she always wanted to be a movie star. She had her movie star moment. Yeah, you know what I mean? So like,
how cool is that, man?
It was incredible. She even got interviewed a little bit, like a little mock interview. And so she was just super happy, and it just felt amazing. So this song, to keep in brevity, it's been life-changing. It's been career-changing for sure. And we have a lot of other big artists interested in it.
Yeah, and that's it, man. Yeah. And it's so cool, like those moments like that, being able to do things like taking your mum to the game there and having those moments. Yeah. You know, that's things you can't put a price on, you know, money, fame, everything else. Those are those kind of moments that really, really do stand out. And it's such a wicked experience, and it's awesome that's you know, it's so awesome to see from that what you just told us about the origins of the song, 5 to 10 minutes at talk, and everything that's coming from that now. It's you know, mate, you've really struck onto an absolute winner. Oh,
thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it's just been incredible. You know, ESPN social media has gone back and forth about using it. Yeah. And but there's a lot of things that go into that. You know, when you get on those levels, a lot of like legality, stuff like that. But we were also in talks with NBA 2K. Nick, you and I spoke about that.
We did.
And NBA 2K. And so like on my Instagram, if you go through my Instagram, people tag Ronnie 2K and be like, Ronnie, put it on the game. Like, come on, like, where is
100%.
it?
Oh, petition.
So
100%.
Petition to make that
it's like a little petition going on. Yeah. You know, because Luka has a fan base. Luka's fan base is like a Jordan style fan base. You know what I mean? A Larry Bird style fan base.
Yeah. And only getting bigger.
Like, you're never going to switch up on Luka. You'll never do it. You'll never switch up on Luka.
Oh, that's unreal. I don't know if Nick's actually mentioned to you, but we're big 2K players ourselves. So to hear
That's
your
awesome.
voice on 2K potentially next year or in one of these next few years.
Wow.
Goodness me, that'll be incredible.
That's-
Ronnie,
that's
if you're
just-
listening, man, the
Yeah.
people want it.
Yeah,
people
bloody
want to
oath.
give the people what they want.
Just give it to him, man. You already
Not
put
that
Luka
hard.
on the cover, Ronnie.
Yeah,
We
mate.
need the song to go with it.
Yeah.
So I guess with that, NBA's always been a big part of your life, has it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great story in of itself because
Yeah.
my brother is 20 years older than me.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I remember watching, because he'd always have ESPN basketball highlights on.
Yep.
He never really had like a team. He was just a fan of the game, right? He had players that he liked.
Yep.
Like his favorite player ever is Larry Bird, but I can't tell you that he's still a Celtics fan. You know what I mean? He's a Larry Bird fan. So, and of course, he was a big fan of Dirk. And that was my first real introduction to the NBA because I was born in 94. So when I was coming up, when I was like able to realize all these different players and realize the game, Dirk was the talk. You had the Dirk talk, you had the Kobe talk, right?
Yep.
And so, I remember watching Dirk play and I was like, wow, like this guy's crazy, for as big as he was to move around the way he did, and of course to lead to the championship was just incredible. And so for me, that was my introduction. And then of course, Jason Terry, Jason Kidd,
Absolutely.
all of that as well. That whole team, that whole faction was just incredible. And then to see the championship won, really made me a Dallas Mavericks fan. So I'm an actual fan of the Mavericks themselves.
Brilliant.
Whereas, my brother, he was just always like Kobe, Jordan,
players,
Bird, Magic.
Yep.
Right, players.
Following the league. Yep.
Yeah. Geez, I tell you what, 2010, 2011 would have been one of the best years and seasons of your life, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Like, it's wild to see the waves, to see how Luka is really starting to make those waves again.
Yep.
I don't know. Of course, as Mavericks fan, I have to tell you that this is going to be our year. That's like, I'm obligated.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But, it's crazy to see, like, I know with Luka, they're going to get a chip for sure.
Oh, 100%.
When? I couldn't tell you when. Like I said, I want it to be this year.
Yep.
But if it's not, it will be with Luka on the team.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. Especially with Dinwiddie. Oh, my God. What a
He's
great
been
trade that was.
Balling, man. He has been killing it.
Oh,
Those couple of guards now, him with Brunson as well. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And Dinwiddie's always been a baller. He never got his credit. He's
Yep.
always been a great player.
Yep.
He's always been slept on. And so to see that 1 and 2 with Luka is just insane because Luka's a straight up playmaker. You see that
Absolutely.
like eyes behind the head, drop the ball. I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
How did
what
he
is
even get it
going
there?
on, man?
Yeah. We agree.
That's why it's Luka Magic. That's Luka Magic.
That's the one.
at its finest. Because
That's Luka
we
Magic.
believe, we've spoken about it a bit, like we think, when it's all said and done and Luka's career is over, like he's going to be on that like Mount Rushmore of players with LeBron, with Jordan, with, your Kobe's, etc.
Absolutely.
He's got big things destined for him. And it's, I certainly, we're certainly in agreement that a chip is well and truly on the way. And it looks like that phase could be getting closer and closer.
Absolutely. And we're seeing these things that he's doing with all respect, because I believe, this era of the NBA, I joke with people, I tell them, I think this is like watching 2K players because they're just, with everything that they do.
Yep.
It's really wild to see it because you have, especially guys like John Morant.
Yep.
He's insane. I love watching Ja.
Yeah.
I love that. So these guys are just straight up 2K players. And it's incredible to see this generation coming up. It really is.
Well, it's like that play yesterday LaMelo Ball had, the under the legs alley-oop.
Oh.
Like it's freaky what these players are doing now. And as we said, we're huge 2K players, and sometimes it's hard for us to tell the actual difference between real life and 2K. So no, that is wicked there. Mate, just from yourself. So what is, LUKA Magic now is going off, as we said. It is popping off. What's next for you? So what's happening for Dustin in the next little phase?
With LUKA Magic coming out, it's been incredible. We've had a lot of big artists get a hold of us to get on a remix of LUKA Magic, which has been
game changer,
a godsend. Seriously,
Yeah.
Because I look up to so many artists.
Yep.
And to have these artists reaching out and shows reaching out and labels reaching out just based off this one song has been very incredible, because before this I was in and out of a lot of bands actually.
Yeah.
So I've been working in music, honestly, I'd say for about 10, 15 years. And so like the break just happened. You know what I mean?
And that's what it's about.
So right now it's just, I want to give back more to the fans. I love this relationship that's going on with the Mavericks. There's incredible corporation, incredible people that work there. And so I just want to give more to the fans, more music, more life, more Maverick stuff.
Absolutely.
It's been incredible. And right now I came back from Texas. I'm from Texas. I came back to Atlanta to work with Rich because we are working on their playoff song for them right now.
Oh, that is incredible.
Yeah,
so good.
It's been great because we want the whole team to be involved, not just Luka. Luka's incredible, but that whole team is pulling off stuff that I don't think anyone really knew would happen from the start of the season.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. So that's huge. That feels like almost like a little inside scoop that we've got there.
Yeah, you're the first one to know.
That's wicked, man. It's so an exciting little period coming up. The next couple of weeks to a month or two is going to be huge for you by the sounds of it.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so looking forward to it. I can't wait to have we're working on a lot of Dallas shows. Dallas has been one of the top streaming places, of course, for LUKA Magic. So we want to get some shows in Dallas, and then Atlanta's been great. And I saw the streams going up in Australia. I was like, so that's you guys.
Absolutely, mate. We're going to be pumping
to Australia, chill out with the kangaroos a little bit.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Just touching Excel, you were mentioning before how there's been some artists who have reached out and want to remix your song. I know for us, Nick and I personally, and Lee, who's not here, we've got our own aspirations of collaborating with other big sort of podcasts and people who we really look up to. I'm really curious now that sort of these other artists are reaching out to you. Who would be your sort of dream artist to collaborate with?
Wow, that's a great question. I have to say, I listen to a lot of different music. I'm never just on one genre. My favorite artist changes every single day. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I'm always changing my favorite artist.
100%.
Awesome. So for me, I love Dave Grohl. I love the Foo Fighters.
Yes.
Yep. I would, and I'm so heartbroken about Taylor Hawkins.
That was devastating.
Devastating is the word for it.
Yeah.
I'd love to collaborate with Dave Grohl someday. For sure. Like a pure, rock song, whatever it may be, anything Dave would want to do. I would just love to hang out with him for one day in the studio.
And how good of a bloke does he seem as well, Dave Grohl? Like from all reports, he seems like such a good guy.
Especially for everything he's done. Like he's Mount Rushmore rock music.
Yeah.
And he's still just so cool.
Yeah. I tell you what, that would be an electric collaboration. That would be wicked.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Even to just have him on the drums would just be incredible because he's anything he touches is gold.
Turns to gold.
It is.
So, well, I guess just tying that in actually with what you were just saying, how your music taste changes kind of each day and quite frequently. To like all of our listeners and anyone out there, how would you describe your own kind of your music path? What genre, or how would you categorize what you do?
That's a great question. For me, I would say if I had to tell the everyday listener what it's like, I would say it's very pop centric.
Yeah.
But it pulls in a lot of different things. I think because unlike a lot of hip hop songs, I do a lot more like vocal work in terms of like really belting. You know what I mean? Yep. But that comes from my rock background. Yeah. Because I used to be a rock singer. So belting out stuff kind of goes hand in hand with that. So for me, it's pulling all the inspirations that I've had throughout my life. I mean, my mom was a big fan of disco. My dad was a big fan of country. Yeah. My brother was a big fan of rap and rock.
Oh, so I've
been around everything.
Yeah.
But for me, I would say it's very pop centric. If I had to really just place it for the everyday listener, I'd say it's very pop centric.
So we can see where the broad spectrum of music has come from, Excel. Yeah. It comes through your family line, and then you sort of picked it up as well.
Absolutely. And that's why my hair is still growing out. You know what I mean? So growing up on rock music for me, actually Guitar Hero got me into music heavy.
Yes.
Heavy. That's when I first started playing guitar. Like when I played Alice in Chains, Them Bones, I asked my dad for a guitar. I was like, yo, I need a guitar. And I sucked for years.
Yep.
Speaking of Guitar Hero, could you ever play Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force on Guitar Hero?
Nah, man, I was a medium flavor Nancy.
Yeah. Me too. Likewise. So we're all in the same boat.
I was always medium. Always medium. I always played on medium. Actually, I just went to the arcade recently and they had like a Guitar Hero thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I suck.
I was about to say, surely you lit it up now. No. Some can, some can't they? That game's just, it's not indicative of what you do, is it?
No. Like I played it recently and I just sucked. Like I was like, what is going on? And I can play real guitar. I can play Through the Fire and Flames on real guitar now.
Yeah.
And like on fake guitar, I'm like, what's
going on?
I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I know.
Get like arthritis or something.
Yeah, no. Well, we gave up as well. We're not built for it. We got sausages for fingers, so we kind of threw in the towel there.
Listen, I have these huge hands. These things.
Look at that guy. Mate.
These things are not good for those little plastic guitars anymore.
Little tiny guitars.
Baby, not anymore. Not good.
Mate, dude. Just I guess mine's here. I've got a little bit of a two-part question. Mm-hmm. So speaking back on the Mavericks. What do you think? So you've been around the organization a bit now and you've got the inside knowledge, let's say. How do you feel like, what do you think their ceiling is this season? Like on a an actual on-court performance standpoint? And I guess
that's a great question.
With that,
I'm sure you've seen a lot of different people, a lot of analysts are actually saying that they might upset the Suns.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Because we're entering playoff Luka. That's a different Luka. That's a very different Luka.
Absolutely.
And Dinwiddie doesn't seem to miss.
No.
You know?
Yep.
And then of course Brunson. I love Brunson.
I love Brunson.
I do believe we should definitely give him what he wants for next season. I love to see him drive. He drives really great.
He's so underrated as well.
I'm a big fan of Reggie too. I love Reggie.
Yes. Yep.
That whole that core four is that, as I call them. Yeah. I really think they're good.
Yep.
By obligation, I'm saying we're going all the way.
You've got it. We knew it was coming. I asked you, and I was like, I think I know where this is going, but I just wanted to hear you say it. But like, you can see a world in which they do, can't you? Like, Luka is that kind of a transformative player that he has that ability to elevate those around him. And that small ball lineup they play is phenomenal.
Absolutely. And the few times that I've seen him live, courtside and everything.
Yeah.
Every trash talk that anyone can say on Twitter is not true in person. Like Luka is fast. He is quick. Like I don't know if TV slows it down, but he's quick. Yeah. Especially like the thing with Luka is like with LUKA Magic, how Magic is very sleight of hand. Luka's sleight of hand with the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like he's doing like Larry Bird style passes.
Yeah.
And it's just it's incredible. Like one of the best passes I saw was literally was it 2 games ago when he bounced the ball between the guy's legs for the layup, and I was like, yo, what? I was like, this is street game stuff that he's doing.
And this is like Rucker Parks type stuff, isn't it? And it's happening on NBA courts. I like what you said there about, people not realizing how quick Luka is. When they're watching it on the screen. The other thing that I thought I'd mention with Luka is not only is he deceivingly quick, but his play style makes others slow down as well. So it's unreal. I haven't seen him in person, such as yourself, but goodness me, just watching on TV, it looks like the other guys are in slow motion playing around him.
Absolutely. And that's why I think people have this big misconception that he plays slow. It's that the whole game needs to slow down around him because he's doing such incredible things, and like I said, this generation of NBA, I love in all respect, to the Jordan era, the Bird era, Magic Johnson era, all respect, but these guys are NBA 2K players. Yeah, absolutely. And that generation really started from Allen Iverson, so we have guys like Ja Morant coming from that. And then Luka being, like LeBron, Larry Bird mixed with Kobe 2.0. And it's like, whoa,
He's
this
like the
is
ultimate
incredible.
hybrid player.
Like, you make these players in 2K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You boost all the attributes straight to 99, and you've pretty much got Luka by the looks of it. Like, he's
Absolutely. And I would love to see Luka with Ja. That's my dream duo. Luka with Ja.
How fun would that be? The athleticism that Ja possesses. Imagine just Luka just feeding him on the alley-oop. Like, it would be...
It'd be incredible. It would be like watching a nonstop highlight reel.
Yeah. Oh, my heart rate's just gone through the roof thinking about that. Oh, that makes me so excited.
That is a dream.
Potentially one day in the future.
Absolutely. And LeBron even said he wants to work with Luka. Did you see that in that interview that LeBron did?
Yep, we did say that.
So, I really think Luka's going to be a hot topic. Everyone's going to double, triple what anybody's offering Luka.
Yep.
But I can tell you right now that Dallas will literally go bankrupt over Luka because they want to keep him that bad. Whatever he wants, he's going to get in Dallas.
You got to do that. You've got to do that for those generational players. You just have to. And
have to.
He's such a rare type of player as well, Luka, isn't he? Because he's the type of player who has little to no ego, but he wants other players want to play with Luka Doncic, which I don't think in the NBA is always the case with some of these players. Yeah, you might have superstar athletes, such as maybe, I don't know, James Harden, for example. But then guys like Luka Doncic, there's other superstars throughout the league who desperately want to be a part of what he's got going on in Dallas.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like, I knew that Luka was very special. One, when he got signed to Jordan Brand. I knew that was special. And then I knew it was very special when LeBron, I know everyone has their opinion on LeBron, but you can't have a conversation about GOAT unless you mention LeBron. Absolutely. Whether someone agrees or disagrees, he's always in the conversation. At least, and so when he was saying he sees a lot of himself in Luka, I was like, wow, that's just incredible. I mean, the kid's 23. He's 23 years old, coming from a different country on his 4th year, and you're already being compared to one of the most talked about NBA players ever.
100%.
It's unreal, isn't it?
He's breaking every record at the moment, and he's showing no signs of slowing down. It's really a phenomenal journey, and we're all just lucky to be living in this age with him at the moment.
Yeah, and I think Luka's going to become one of those players. He's eventually going to break into his own. Now, he's boxed in. Dallas fans are always going to compare him to Dirk.
Yes.
And then other fair weather other fair weather watchers of basketball are always going to compare him to, most notably, Larry Bird. They're going to say he's Larry Bird. I don't see it a lot other than passing and trash talk, to be honest.
I think that's about it as well.
Yeah.
Like his
I think
game is so well-rounded.
Yeah, so people are looking at maybe the passing and making it a bigger Larry Bird case, but I mean, Larry Bird's threes are just magical. You know what I mean? So, Luka's great, but on that front, I really don't see the Larry Bird comparison. On that front.
And there's still time for that to develop, but at the moment, there's certainly not that there to that extent yet.
Absolutely. And so, he's either compared to Bird or Dirk. We're going to see a point, I don't know how long it's going to take, but where people compare people to Luka.
It's just
where it's going to be, this kid looks like the next Luka instead of Luka looking like the next Larry Bird.
Isn't that scary that he's only a couple of years into the league and people are already going to be doing that? Incredible.
4 years. And I mean, his stats are already matching up, and some are even beating LeBron James' first 4 years, which are insane.
That's ridiculous.
And all respect to LeBron, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing about Luka, isn't it? Like, it's hard to compare players with him now because he's sort of become, as you were mentioning, Dustin, he's becoming one of these guys who other players going forward will be compared to. He's just one of those once, as we were mentioning, just once in a generation type players. So when we hear the comparisons to Luka Doncic or who Luka sort of plays like, sort of like, I don't know. I think he's his own player. I think he's a guy who's
really
going
is.
to be,
because he takes so many inspirations. I see a lot of LeBron and Luka. I see the Dirk step back. Of course, there's Dirk in there too.
Yeah.
So Luka, like I said earlier, is literally NBA 2K. You pick attributes from all these different players. You have Luka Doncic.
I know.
Absolutely. And he can dunk. Like,
and he can dunk as well.
It's like, it's unfair. This guy is the whole package.
The whole package.
He's the whole package and more. Dustin, one of the questions that I love asking our guests when we interview them, because much like yourself, I guess, you know, the Daily Dribble podcast, we're sort of on the up and we're looking to grow. And what I always like asking our guests is, I guess, what advice would you have for people in a similar situation, such as ourselves and potentially yourself as well, who's, you know, on the way up? What advice would you give them, you know, in their journey to sort of succeed, I guess, in their own mind?
That's a great question. For me, it's 2 words, and that's be relentless.
Yes.
So when
100%.
this whole Mavericks thing started, I have to tell you that for the Mavericks to catch their attention, I remember sending out over 500 emails to everybody that was connected to the Mavericks.
Yep.
And this was from the popcorn guy
Yes.
to you know, Mark Cuban's secondhand person.
Yep.
Until I finally got the chance from one person, the Mavericks, that believed in the song, that believed in what I was doing, that liked the song,
Yep.
you know, and she changed my life, you know,
Yes.
with her belief. And I'm telling you, be relentless, because it takes one person. That's it. It takes
So true.
one person.
100%.
And as far as like finding your niche, finding your audience, there are 8 billion people on this planet. You can find 20,000. You can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about the number game, because people at my level as an artist shouldn't be played in front of 20,000 people. But I was. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so don't worry about the ins and outs that people tell you to worry about, because if you have something good, someone's going to believe in it, and it's just
I
love that.
Just out here.
I love the answer. It's so honest and
And
so
it's-
real.
And that 100% probably, like, it really resonates, you know, for us as like aspiring content creators as well. That's something that, you know, we've really striven for, like driven towards that relentless. No, and I do the same thing, like every night, sending out emails and messages and everything, whoever I can get a hold of. And you're right, all it takes is one person to say yes. And for us, you know, certain doors have already opened already, continuing to open. And, you know, it really is a bit like a snowball, isn't it? Once that gets momentum going down the hill, as for yourself and everything that's come about from LUKA Magic, it's starting to really build some momentum now. So that's, you know, 100% agree with that relentless answer there.
Yeah, and you know what, for the show and everything, like my advice, my takeaway would be, you know, go through the entire list of NBA players and find out their PR person and message every single PR person.
Absolutely.
You will get one NBA player on the show, and then they'll share it, and then another NBA player will share it. It's all snowball. It's all snowball.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
It.
I loved what you said about the numbers as well, Dustin, because I know for us, and we've mentioned it on the pod before, sort of in the early days, particularly, you sort of wonder how you're going to keep that motivation to continue doing it. When for example, when we first started it, we had, you know, maybe us three and our parents listening to the podcast, and that's it. And we're like, oh, yeah, I don't know about this. But I think for us personally, it's just been like the passion to
doing what you love, as you said before.
Yeah, exactly right. And talking about basketball, getting the opportunity to talk to people like yourself as well, which is, I don't like, Nick and I are in agreement with this, but like speaking to people like yourself and hearing your story, it's probably the highlight of our podcast.
Yeah, we love
it so much. Thank you.
It's actually eye-opening to hear other people's stories, and yeah, we really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Thank you. And stay, you know, only compare yourself to yourself. That's the biggest advice I can give you. Agreed. You know, so for me, you know, LUKA Magic hits a certain number. It's like, okay, then the next song has to hit this certain number.
Yep.
You know,
that
and that's what it was. Like the first song we did had like X amount of whatever, and maybe a notable artist shared it out and everything. But this time around, we made it to the NBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, so next you got to do this.
What's next?
You have to just keep building on it and building on it and building on it. Because the music industry, so many numbers are flubbed. So many numbers are fake. You know what I mean? So like, I'm telling you, as long as you have one person believe in you and you have just total and absolute honesty and love for what you do and you grind every day at it. I can't tell you one person that grinded hard and lost. I can't tell you.
That's so cool.
Everybody always
Absolutely.
wins if they try to win. I'm telling you right now.
100%.
That's a good quote. I actually like that quote.
I love that too. I love that too. And it's something not just us, but all of our listeners and everyone who's trying to achieve in life should really take on board, because it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the fight of the dog. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that. Going back to basketball, I know the other day was really big for the Mavericks. You had Giannis versus Luka.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, Giannis, defending champion.
Yep.
They're, number 2 on the MVP under Jokic, right?
Yep.
And you know what? What did Luka do? Outshot him.
Turned
you know
one
what I
on.
mean? Crossed
Turned
him
one
up,
on.
outpassed him.
Yeah.
And because Luka in that game had more drive.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not taken away from Giannis. Giannis is the Greek freak. He's incredible.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But Luka wanted it, and he got it. And so that put him, people were like,
you gotta want it.
Man.
You gotta want it. That is key.
It's almost a mental battle, isn't it, for situations like that? Because we know they're both physically, they're both incredible athletes.
Absolutely.
But up here is where the battle is won in those contests, and couldn't agree more.
Absolutely, and it's a mental game. Everything, music, podcast, whatever somebody might be doing, basketball, it's a mental game. And that's what I think trips up people with Luka is he's just so mentally ahead.
Absolutely.
He's seen the next quarter when it's still the first quarter.
3 steps
He's
ahead.
already seen it happen.
Yeah. Yep. No, without a doubt, mate. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on today. We cannot thank you enough for taking a bit of time out of your very busy schedule to join us, for sharing your wisdom, sharing your journey with not only us, but all of our listeners. Mate, where can everyone find you and follow everything that you're doing?
Everywhere. Even the sites you ain't supposed to be on. I'm kidding. You can find me, Instagram, XLWolf, EXLWOLF, Spotify, XLEXEL, and then anywhere you type in LUKA MAGIC song, LUKA MAGIC, YouTube, whatever, it's gonna show up. Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you can stream, I'm there. And I'd love to talk to everybody.
And just on that, tying it in with this show being particularly about LUKA MAGIC and everything that's happened from that. But guys, be sure to check out everything else that Dustin's doing. All his other songs as well are absolute bangers, mate. They're certainly in my playlist at the moment, going off. Thank you once again, mate, for joining us. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. And I have to ask you now. I have a question for you.
Please.
Turn the table.
I have to ask about the kangaroos.
I love it.
Tell me, are they everywhere?
The kangaroos?
The kangaroos, yeah.
Oh no, man. We're based down in Tasmania, the little island state just below the mainland Australia.
Okay.
And we've got a few here and there. We've got kind of the smaller kangaroos, wallabies they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got quite a few of them around. But there's a few kangaroos around.
Yeah, there's a few, but it's always funny to us to hear the perspective of people outside of Australia. They're sort of not sure if there's just kangaroos hopping down the main highway or, we take a kangaroo to work or whatever the case might be. But
I'm telling you, because that's my American coming out. But that's the belief, because I put a poll up in my Instagram and I was like, should I ask them about kangaroos? And everyone's like, yes, definitely ask them about the kangaroos.
You almost have to. It'd almost be rude not to. But
mate, you ever get down here to Australia, we'll take you to see some kangaroos.
Hey.
Done.
Is it legal to own one? Is it?
We'll look into that for you and
look into that for us.
Could be. We'll find out. We might have to invest in one.
Yeah, I need my exotic animal ranch.
Yes,
that's it.
Well, guys, thank you so much. It's truly been a pleasure. This is one of my favorite interviews that I've done. And,
oh wow!
Let's connect more.
Absolutely.
And wherever you guys need, I'll be here, and we'll definitely help each other out. Totally.
Done.
You're a legend.
100%. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.